I got to say, this verdict in the E. Jean Carroll case, a rape claim, a defamation claim, and Trump is ordered to pay. He's liable. He supposedly committed a battery on E. Jean Carroll. He owes her now a total of some $5 million, a combination of actual damages and punitive damages. Well, what can I say except this is absurd, and this is New York, and this is a highly biased jury all over again, not to mention a judge who seemed almost fanatically opposed to Trump. This is Judge Lewis Kaplan, Clinton appointee. And this guy, by the way, blocked all kinds of evidence from even going to the jury. For example, E. Jean Carroll's lawsuit was funded by a leftist billionaire. This is Reid Hoffman, a guy, one of the founders, I believe, of LinkedIn. And you'd think this would be relevant for the jury to know. This is a woman not paying for this case. She's being bankrolled by leftist and Democratic interests. The judge goes, no, it's not relevant. I'm not going to allow it. So this creates the basis for Trump to appeal. Now, I saw this morning that Eric Fartwell, or should I say Swalwell, was basically saying Trump has been convicted. Trump has been convicted, but this is false. A conviction is only relevant in a criminal case. If you have a civil case, you're not convicted. A judge may find you liable, and you're talking ultimately about money damages. You might be ordered to pay, but that's not a conviction because no criminality is being alleged or involved. And so what was cool was that Community Notes pops up right under Swalwell's tweet, basically just saying, this is false, this is misleading, because it's using criminal language to refer to a non-criminal case. And so here we find the fact checkers we finally have fact checkers, not on our side, because these aren't fact checkers that are making some right-wing point. They're doing actual fact checking. They're familiar with the law, and they're correcting Swalwell on something where Swalwell is wrong. Happily, they're not banning Swalwell. They're not saying that Swalwell can't tweet false information. He can, but the false information is that just exposed and highlighted. Now, what makes this case so crazy is that the jury found Trump not liable, or you may say, not to have committed any kind of rape. He was exonerated on the rape accusation, but somehow still found guilty, or still found not guilty, but still found liable on the charge that he committed battery. Now, how would you know any of this? We're talking about an incident in the 1990s. First of all, it's alleged to have occurred in the Bergdorf Goodman department store dressing room. So when I heard this, the very idea that Trump raped this woman in a dressing room, like the Nordstrom dressing room, it's preposterous. The idea that Trump committed battery on her is preposterous. The whole thing is completely made up, quite obviously. And the woman is a weirdo. She went on Anderson Cooper's show on CNN and basically talked about how rape is sexy. Her quote, rape is sexy. End quote. And so you're dealing with a freak, but a freak who is willingly used as a pawn by these Democrats to go after Trump. And the jury is like, here's an opportunity to get this guy. And so sure enough, they do. Because, I mean, think about this. How can Trump be guilty of defamation when E. Jean Carroll accuses him of rape? The jury goes, we believe Trump. There was no rape. But you know what? It's defamation because Trump shouldn't have said that. This is incoherent. Trump has every right to defend himself against a false accusation of rape. The jury goes, we don't believe the accusation, but they still find that Trump committed defamation. So Trump is going to appeal this for sure, but of course it gives the left ammunition, and it also gives the never-Trumpers ammunition. I mean, here's an interesting article. NBC, of course, this is a fascinating exercise in how the media operates. Senate Republicans suggest Carroll verdict could imperil Trump's 2024 chances. And they run to the five guys that they can count on. So let's look at the people quoted. Senator John Cornyn of Texas. Electability to me is the sole criterion. Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota. I would have a tough time supporting Trump. Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, he says the verdict is concerning. He has been found to be civilly liable. How could it do anything but create concern? John Thune of South Dakota and Mitt Romney of Utah. So this is like rounding up the usual suspects. They, of course, supply the obliging quotations, and then the misleading headline is immediately tagged on. Not, we rounded up the Republican never-Trumpers, but rather Senate Republicans, as if to say, we're now going to give you 5 examples of people who reflect the sentiment of the Senate. But no, they obviously are not going to senators who are going to tell them what they don't want to hear. It seems to me that the Republican base and pretty much any Republican with a brain knows that this was a hit job. This is an absurd situation. Obviously, it's a situation Trump has to deal with. He has to go through the expense of fighting an appeal. Hopefully, the whole thing will be overturned and tossed out. But in the meantime, the verdict serves its purpose, which is to give ammunition to the other side to basically say Trump is unelectable, Trump should step out, and the Republicans should nominate someone else.